Hi guys, welcome back to today's video. This is the first video of 2026, so Happy New Year. I wanted to do a little TBR video to start off January with a bang, and today we're going to let AI pick the prompts for my January TBR. I did want to give you guys a little bit of insight as to what I'm reading right now. So the first book that I am reading, I've been on for quite a while, it's pretty dense, is The Will of the Many. This is like a fantasy academia kind of style book. This is following Viz, and he was orphaned after some sort of accident, and then he becomes like this prison guard almost figure. And that's really as far as I've gotten. I have not gotten too far into this at all. But the second book just came out, which is called The Strength of the Few. And I have only ever heard good things about the series and James Islington's writing. So I am super excited to continue with this and get into this. It is pretty dense. However, I think we can do it this month. And then I'm also currently reading Yellowface by R.F. Wong. This one I also just started. I don't know much about it. I really like to go into books blind, like not knowing anything at all. I do know that the main character, the main character, Juniper. Oh, I don't think that's her actual name. I'm pretty sure it's not, because I have started this. Anyway, this kind of follows two writers, and one writer is getting so much more attention than the other, and then that writer ends up dying somehow. I haven't gotten there yet, but she ends up dying somehow, and the first writer takes over her work as her own. And that's all I got. That's all I know about this book. And I am really excited to get into it. I heard that the main character is very unlikable, but I feel like she's kind of supposed to be, so we'll see how that goes. But for the remainder of the books that I'm reading this month, we are going to let AI be choosing. So I am going to first pull up Snapchat AI, just because that's like the first kind of like experience that I have with AI, so that's the first one I want to use. And we're going to ask for a prompt to choose a book for my TBR. I was going to put this for you guys. Okay, so I just asked my AI. It said, suggest a book set in a snowy landscape with a compelling mystery at its heart. Let's ask it for like more vague one, because I'm only choosing books off of my TBR cart, which I will take you over to in a few. But I feel like that's very specific. Okay, suggest a book that will help me get out of my comfort zone this year. That's a pretty good one, I would say. So I'm going to... Do I thank it? I know it's just a robot, but... Okay, cool. We have our first prompt, which I'm so excited for. Okay, now that we've asked Snapchat AI, we are going to go in... I think I'm going to do 4. We're going to do 4 prompts, so that was 1, and we need 3 more. I'm going to ask the rest of these from ChatGPT, just because I don't have anything else like downloaded. Okay, it gave me 4 right here. So we're going to pick 3 of these 4 to take to the TBR cart. I'm not going to read, like, the sides of them. Comfort chaos, main character injury? Main character energy. Maybe I shouldn't be reading anything at all. Main character energy, seasonal intuition, unhinged wildcard. We're going to go comfort chaos, which says a book that feels familiar but still surprises me. Seasonal intuition, a book that matches the weather, not the calendar. Unhinged wildcard, a book I keep seeing but never plan to read. So, no. Also, I apologize for my voice. I can assume that it's very annoying. I have not been feeling good the last couple of days, but I have literally just been wanting to sit in bed and read, so I figured that we should probably get my TBR for the month figured out because I didn't think twice about it in December. Okay, so now that we have all of our prompts, we are going to go over to the TBR cart and kind of pick through them, choose through them. There is quite a bit on the TBR cart. These are like all books that I've gotten for Christmas, bought for my birthday, whatever. Let's go. Here is my TBR cart. These are all of the books that I physically own that I absolutely need to get to this year because there are quite a lot of them. I think there's like 35 on here total. There's a couple on the back. There's quite a bit. There's quite a bit of variety, quite a bit of just everything in general. So our first prompt was from Snapchat AI, and it said, a book that will help me get out of my comfort zone this year. My comfort zone is very much like fantasy and romantasy, and then basic romance. So that's like completely disregarding all of these. Kristen Hanna is very much in my comfort zone. Out of the Woods, I read one book by Hannah Bonham Young, and I enjoyed it enough. War D by Frida McFadden. The Handmaid's Tale. I feel like this is out of anybody's comfort zone. Yes, this is a dystopian future environmental disasters and declining birth rates have led to a second American Civil War. This sounds extremely out of my comfort zone, so we may go with this. House of Salt and Sorrow, that's kind of fantasy. Dark Matter, this actually might also be out of my comfort zone. My comfort zone is very narrow. Are you happy with your life? Those are the last words Jason Denson hears before the kidnapper knocks him unconscious, before he awakens to find himself strapped to a gurney, surrounded by strangers in hazmat suits. In this world he's woken up to, Jason's life is not the one he knows. His wife is not his wife, his son was never born, and Jason is not an ordinary college professor, but a celebrated genius who has achieved something remarkable, something impossible. I feel like this is definitely way more out of my comfort zone than this is. So we're going to put this back. The books on the back, I'm just going to tell you what they are real quick. These are curtains, sorry. Catabasis, Not Quite Dead Yet, Brimstone, Alchemized, Great Big Beautiful Life, Wild Dark Shore, and Atmosphere. I feel like those are all very much within my comfort zone, so we're going to turn this back around. And I feel like this is a good pick for out of my comfort zone. I feel like The Handmaid's Tale is, nothing can get more out of your comfort zone than a second American Civil War. So I think this is what we're going to pick for book number 1. Prompt number 2 is a book that feels familiar but still surprises me. The Cruel Prince is on here because I have read it once and I wanted to reread it. So it wouldn't really surprise me, but it would feel familiar. Actually, I know the perfect book for this prompt. We are going to go with The Duke and I, which is Bridgerton Book 1. This feels familiar because I have watched the Netflix series, and season 3 actually comes out this month. I think it's like towards the end of January. But I've never read the books, and my fiance got me this copy, which is absolutely stunning, of the first book, and I want to read them so that I can buy all of the copies of these books and not feel guilty about it. So I think this is like perfect for this prompt, actually. And I may need something like a little light romance to get me through after we read this one. Seasonal Intuition, a book that matches the weather, not the calendar. So it's January outside. I live in the Midwest. It is winter. It is cold and depressing and icy. Whenever I say those words, the only book that I can think of that would match them quite perfectly is Beartown by Frederick Bachman. I won this in a giveaway from Alexia. I'll tag her TikTok down below. But this is, I've heard that this book in this series is just so sad. Frederick Bachman is an amazing writer. I've read A Man Called Ove and one of his other books. I want to say Anxious People. Absolutely amazing writer. I love his writing. I love the way that it flows. I love the way that it feels. And I believe this, I mean, it looks like it takes place in winter. Oh yeah, it's about a junior ice hockey team about to compete in the national semifinals. And they actually have a shot at winning. All the hopes and dreams of this place now rest on the shoulders of a handful of teenage boys. Okay, yeah, I think that this is gonna be, that one's gonna make it. And then the last prompt that we have is Unhinged Wildcard, a book that I keep seeing but never plan to read. So there are two books that really stuck out to me for this one. I'm thinking House of Salt and Sorrows or Lightlark by Alex Astor. I've seen this book so many places, and I know that she is absolutely blowing up on TikTok. I really don't know which one I want to read, to be honest. House of Salt and Sorrows is about Annalie, who lives in a sheltered life at Highmore with her sisters once there were 12, but loneliness fills the grand halls now that 4 of the girls' lives have been cut short, each death more tragic than the last. I think that I've heard this one is like a 12 Dancing Princesses, like, not alternate ending, but I don't know what it's called. It's like reminiscent of 12 Dancing Princesses. And then this one, literally all I know is that people say it's like a mix of The Hunger Games and something else. Every 100 years, the island of Lightlark appears for only 100 days to host a deadly game, where the rulers of 6 realms fight to break their curses and win unparalleled power. Each ruler has something to hide. Each curse is uniquely wicked. To break them and save themselves in their realm, one ruler must die. Why does that, like, not excite me at all at this moment? We're gonna go with House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin Craig. Sorry for the little jump scare. We are going to run through the 4 books that AI has picked for me to read this month, and you will be seeing them in future reading vlogs and whatever else. I'm super excited to read all of these books, and I'm really glad that I'm picking out a TBR. Usually I don't do this. Usually I just kind of mood read for whatever I want to do. But we are going to go through the prompts and the books again. For Out of My Comfort Zone is The Handmaid's Tale, Comfort Chaos, Bridgerton, The Duke and I. Seasonal Intuition will be Beartown by Frederick Bachman, and Unhinged Wildcard is going to be House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin Craig. Thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned if you want to see me read these books in future reading vlogs. And I am also on TikTok at Grace's Book Nook. So I hope that you guys have an amazing and wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one.